Morning. We need to talk about Laura Tingle. I dare say if you're in the majority, you probably haven't even heard of her. She works at the ABC. She works in politics. And most people, and I'm just talking mathematics here, most people don't really care about politics and don't watch the ABC. Most people don't watch any specific media outlet particularly anymore. But if you watch the ABC or you follow politics at all, there's a fair chance you've heard of Laura Tingle. And you probably should have, given that she's on $500,000, it's been reported, for her job as the ABC's Global Affairs Editor. During the week, Laura Tingle said that what happened at Bondi had nothing to do with religion. It wasn't an offhanded remark. It wasn't an offhanded remark. She said it and she meant it because she clarified it. Laura Tingle should be sacked immediately as head of Global Affairs for the ABC and removed from her position. Now, before any moron suggests that, that's cancel culture, no, it's not. No. What that's saying is she's unfit for a position that she has. That's not cancel culture. Cancel culture is what happened to Marty Sheargold, right? That is what happened to my good buddy Scotty Cummings, what they tried to do to myself and Dane Swan at the same time in 2019. That's what cancel culture is. You know, for laughing at Urban Dictionary, you deserve to be sacked, even though it was on an explicitly rated podcast. Okay, that's cancel culture. This isn't cancel culture. Because the only way you could come up with an assumption that the random targeting of Jews, now the random bit is important that I specify. The targeting of Jews wasn't random. It didn't matter who we shot as long as they were Jews, right? You get that? Laura and others? The targeting of Jews was random because they didn't care who they were going to murder as long as they were Jews. And the people doing the murdering were Islamic fundamentalists. And what Laura Tingle did was part of the little nitpicking and the unravelling that happens every single time, and the forgiving that happens every single time, from 9/11 to Bali, to Charlie Hebdo, to Sisto, to the Lynch siege, to the Taylor Swift concert, which was fortunately stopped, to the Ariana Grande concert, which wasn't. The forgiving, the unravelling. Now, I mentioned Marty Sheargold because there's the saddest of ironies, isn't there? Because the joke he said that didn't land was that the Matildas played like a bunch of 10-year-old girls. And on Sunday, there was a 10-year-old girl called Matilda murdered because she was a Jew. She wasn't murdered because she was Matilda or she did anything wrong. You know, only a real backward sort of civilization could in any way try and forgive that. But here we are. Now let me tell you something about Laura Tingle. Just a little bit of background, because of course October 7 was where, at a functioning democracy, people started randomly shooting at Jews and murdered 1,200 of them at a music festival and did it at their home around the corner at a kibbutz. And they were targeted because they were Jews, right? That was a functioning democracy. Now that's about it for what I've ever said about Israel. Then the war starts and then the responses happen. I haven't defended Israel. I have no reason nor need to, nor connection to the joint. I am an Australian, right? Now, there are Australian Zionists. I've got no connection to it other than saying it probably isn't right that 1,200 people at a music festival and round the corner in a functioning democracy, when there isn't a war on, get murdered, right? But within weeks, the nitpicking started, the unravelling started, just like's happening now from Bondi, right? Now, if you haven't heard of Francesca Albanese, of course no relation to Anthony, UN, I don't even know what the full title is, member of the UN, her area is Palestine. During the year, Marco Rubio from the US sanctioned her, kicked her out, froze any of her assets for her career of anti-Semitism, for her ongoing spewing of hatred towards the Jewish community under the guise of Israel. So this woman, and it's all documented for years, including before she got the job, has a history of being a disgusting anti-Semite. 6 weeks after October 7, guess what she was doing? She was addressing the National Press Club in Canberra. Have a guess who the president of the National Press Club in Canberra was at the time. You get it, Laura Tingle. What an amazing coincidence that a known anti-Semite who's since been banned from America was given a platform by the National Press Club, whose president was Laura Tingle. You know what happened 2 weeks later? The MEAA, the scum of the earth organisation, Media, Entertainment, Arts and Alliance, put out a mantra signed by a whole bunch of no-hopers, most of whom never have and never will succeed in anything in media, but have somehow got a job. A very, very low standard, doing things that no one will read, no one will watch, no one will listen to. And part of that said, the war didn't start October 7. Any reporting of October 7 needs historical context. Get it? The unravelling, the nitpicking. And here's where we are this week. So, Laura Tingle only said those things under three guises, right? There's only three possible ways you could watch the race-based slaughter of Jews in your own city. And as they were getting picked up off the pavement and buried, say that the random slaughter, to repeat, they were targeted because they were Jews, but the randomness was, it didn't matter who they were, as long as they were Jews. That the random slaughter of Jews by Islamic fundamentalists in a terrorist situation had nothing to do with religion. There's only three things. You're either a cretin, in which part you're unfit for the job of the ABC Global Affairs editor, you're a racist, and you're trying to unpick the narrative of what actually happened here, of which you're unfit for the job as Global Affairs editor, or you've got early onset dementia, which is a terrible thing, but you should go on leave because you're not medically fit for the job of the ABC's Global Affairs editor. Why are the same people who call for Marty Sheargold's sacking saying nothing about the Laura Tingle position? She should be sacked, and we need to start calling out these things to hopefully start the process, which means there's less chance of other people being slaughtered in the streets for the crime of being Jews.